And welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. I have nothing in me right now. The voice is just shot. We're coming to you live from the suburbs of New Jersey and Missouri. My name is Dan, and joining me is a man who paved the way for Leonardo DiCaprio to vape at the SAG Awards. Abe.
I did. I paved the way for Leo to do lots of things. I pioneered taking like 50 supermodels on a yacht too. Little known fact.
No, it's absolutely true. And I apologize for the voice.
You sound really good.
Abe's gonna do most of the talking tonight.
I am.
I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty as usual.
Oh, there you go.
That's my goal.
Yes.
That's my goal.
Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio vaping at the SAG Awards. How does that make you feel? Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel that this is going to become a popular trend at award shows now?
Vaping at award shows? I don't give a shit if it's a popular trend or not. I was shocked, though, that people were so passionate about it, one way or the other. Who gives a shit? I mean, really, I couldn't wrap my head around that. Leo vapes. What's the big deal?
I mean, there was a time where people smoked at the Oscars.
You know, I'm going to say we lost a lot when we decided we weren't going to, as a nation, smoke anymore. This whole idea that we're going to legislate safety, our lives are going to be safe. We lost something there. We really did. And we're still feeling it because people on Twitter fucking freaking out about Leo vaping. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I mean, honestly, I'm a non-smoker. I've never smoked my entire life. I've come from a family of smokers, good or bad. Say what you will. I come from a family of smokers, but I myself have never smoked before.
Right.
But the whole vaping thing, I couldn't give two shits about. And if it's allowed in public buildings, like it was in the wherever the SAG fucking awards were held.
Well, but Jack Nicholson's still allowed to smoke in there, so.
Well, then there you go. I mean, who cares?
And I do want to point out that my vape is a little bit better, Leo.
Oh, why is your vape a little bit better?
I believe he was smoking the MVP2, and my little iStick here should actually kick a little bit harder than his MVP2.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I have no idea.
It's all about power, Dan. I got more power than Leo.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Well, then.
And we both have the same amount of Academy Awards too.
Well, I think that's gonna change.
Yeah, it's gonna change. Yeah, you're probably right.
In a little bit, I do believe that is going to change.
Then he's only gonna have one more than I am. We're really close.
Very close. Very close.
We're nipping on his heels.
You'll get it. You'll get it someday. I mean, it's bound to happen.
That's how I lived my life in high school and sex.
Do you have any tattoos, Abe?
I don't have a single tattoo. My body is a temple, Daniel.
Not a single tattoo. Then you do not have to worry about people making copyright claims on your body.
On my body? What's going on? What's going on with that?
I sent you the article last night. I could not believe it. This is just so ridiculous. The makers of the video game NBA 2K are being sued for graphically representing tattoos in video games. The article says that there's a company that owns the rights to tattoos on NBA players, which just boggles my fucking mind that someone owns the fucking rights to tattoos on fucking NBA players. That's crazy.
Wait, because the players don't actually own the rights to their own tattoos?
No.
They're licensing them?
Apparently so. And here's where it gets really bizarre, is the article goes on to say, and this is a quote from the lawyer involved in the case, it is assumed that without waivers, the tattoo artist is the owner of the work, even if it is put on an athlete's body.
Just that's the natural assumption.
That's a natural assumption. And I call bullshit on it.
Wow.
I call bullshit on it. I have 3 tattoos. I do. And I paid good money for those tattoos, right?
Yeah.
Once I handed that money over to the tattoo artist and he gave me that tattoo, that was the transaction right there. I own the tattoo now. I don't fucking care if it's his personal art.
Man.
Come on. Like if I buy a painting, if I buy a
Right.
Jackson Pollock, right?
I don't know why you'd want to do that, but okay.
I love Jackson Pollock, and
Okay.
I could never afford one. But should I buy one, it is my painting. It's not Jackson Pollock's anymore.
Right.
It's mine.
But then, so by that rationale, then you should be able to make T-shirts out of your Jackson Pollock painting.
I should be able to.
Because
I should be able to put it on an NBA player, and then have this Jackson Pollock painting that's tattooed on an NBA player be in a video game.
where does it? I mean, okay, so LeBron James, he basically by being in the NBA, he grants the NBA the rights to use his likeness. The NBA owns his image.
Right. The only player that I think was able to fight that was Jordan.
Huh.
Like if you remember those video games, Jordan was never in it. It was always player number 23 in Chicago Bulls.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Dick.
Yeah, so Jordan was in one. Oh, the bookies owned his likeness. But that's just wait. So I mean, I'm still just having a hard time wrapping my head around this. Like, do you remember that story a few years back, where strippers, like people, like agents from from BMI or the RIAA, were going into strip clubs to make sure that strippers were paying royalty fees on the songs they were stripping to?
I mean, that's just crazy. I do have to say, as long as like the price of a lap dance didn't go up from like $20 to $20.25, I guess that's less of a concern.
Yeah.
You tack on a quarter to that lap dance, like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna give you a quarter. It's crazy. Who was involved in that? Who was the big asshole that was?
Oh, that was Mr. Creed, right?
Scott Stapp.
Yeah.
Scott Stapp. Oh my God! And of course,
Yeah.
of course, he's the schmuck that's
It offended
that
his
leading the charge.
Right. I think Poison was in on that too.
They just needed the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of girls stripping to Poison, though.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I'm sure Bret Michaels has had sex with most of them.
Yeah, he probably knew. He's like, wait a minute, you stripped to my music? Where's my cut?
Yeah, like, that's surreal. Like, that's so weird. But I mean, it's the whole idea. Like, where does it end? Okay, let's just follow this through. I mean, okay, LeBron carries in him DNA from his parents. LeBron is a derivative work from his parents. I mean, can his parents sue him for copyright infringement for using the likeness of their own DNA? I mean, quite literally, it's a derivative work for profit.
You need to copyright that. You need to copyright LeBron's DNA.
That's it.
I don't want to go there.
Think of all the DNA I've wasted over the years. God.
I don't want to go there. But copyright, let's just talk about copyright real quick. While we're on the subject of copyright.
Are we actually going to go down this path?
A little bit. I'm going to go down this path a little bit.
Yeah, because I have a couple feelings on this.
Do you have feelings about fair use?
I have a lot of feelings about fair use.
Okay. So, hypothetically, if there is a YouTube show that does movie reviews or does interviews with like actors and actresses, and they use a little image from a movie.
Right.
A movie that they're talking about with said actor or actress. Is that fair use?
Yeah, I think it is. If they're specifically discussing that role,
that role, that scene, even whatever. Yeah.
Oh, God. Are we going to tell the whole story? Or are we just going to hint at it?
No. We're just basically, let's just say something's going on with one of our shows, and we'll keep you updated as we know more, and we'll have quite fun with it if we lose the copyright case. We're going to have fun with it. Like, I'm not going to mention the company right now because they're deciding when we're going to lose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And after we lose, we're going to have some fun with it. And we hope that you guys have some fun with it too when it happens. Not if,
But
when we lose.
I will say fair use. I mean, we're just going to talk about that. It was a single image. It was one image. It never fluctuated. It was one image. If you remove that one image, the work doesn't change. It's still the same thing. It was never monetized. It was probably never going to be monetized. I have a hard time believing too that you could argue that using a single image devalues the original work too. I think we hit like 4 or 5 points of fair use.
Yeah, and we'll see. Again, it's in the hands of that certain film distributor that became very popular in the 90s. So we'll leave it to them. Okay. Did you see this?
What did I see?
Gone are the days of must-see TV, NBC. The NFL is going to NBC. It's going to split time with CBS. I mean, first off, do you even like Thursday Night Football?
Not really, no.
Right? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I always feel like the teams kind of half-ass it because they're usually
exhausted, beat up,
running on 3 days or 4 days rest because they played on Sunday, or are about to play in 3 days. That's the worst when you have to play like a Thursday to Monday night game or something. Like your Thursday to Monday. Right. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So if you play Sunday, Thursday, Monday, you're essentially playing 3 times.
I can't even imagine how the coaches can game plan, how the players can rest up.
I guess you can't play the Monday because the Monday is still the same week. But I'm just saying,
yeah. Well, Sunday to Thursday still.
Sunday to Thursday.
Typically, everybody gets Monday off.
Yeah.
They meet on Tuesday for the meetings. Wednesday's a practice, and then Thursday and Friday are practices too. I think.
Right.
But not anymore. That Thursday just ruins everything. But I will say, I guess the bright spot about this, NBC probably does the best football broadcast of any of the networks.
Sure.
I think they do the best produced show.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, I like Michaels and Chris Collinsworth too. I really do.
Yeah, me too. Well, yeah. I think they're good. Gone are the days of boom, tough acting and acting, John Madden.
Yeah,
and
he's
that
long gone.
Corpse that he drug along with him.
Are you going to talk shit on Pat Summerall?
Yeah, I'm going to talk shit on Pat Summerall.
He was a classic broadcaster, man.
When he was with Madden, it was just Madden going and Summerall's like, good point there, John.
Oh my God.
That's all it was.
As long as
I don't think we actually got anything of value of their broadcast.
I don't know about that. Dan Deerdorf was a broadcaster, and that's like Madden is worlds better than that.
Who was the comedian? Who was it?
They brought in Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller. Oh, that was a train wreck. That was so bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, I think Gruden's the worst though.
Gruden?
Yeah.
He loves everybody. He loves all the little football players.
I think Gruden's the worst. I can't deal with the way he talks.
He's got that very emphatic.
It's just and then his brother, the coach of
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
can't say that word. Yeah.
The team that shall not be named. Yeah.
You're gonna trigger me, Dan.
Well, I don't want us to get in trouble like the X-Files did either.
Jesus. I called it.
You did. No, you did. You messaged me last night. You said what was going on. You're like, well, that's going to be shitstorm soon. Twitter's about to explode. You were right.
Yep.
That's what I said. Have you warmed up to the season yet?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, last night I can see why everybody liked the episode. Mm-hmm. It's just not for me. I've either grown beyond the X-Files or they've grown beyond me. I'm really not that interested anymore. I can already feel the breakneck pace in which Chris Carter is going to cram everything humanly possible into the last 2 episodes or whatever for his well thought out mythology.
We shall see. Well, you shall see. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to keep going or not.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break.
Cool.
Maybe I'll drink some more tea or something like that. We have a great show lined up this week. We're going to be talking about Robert Altman's military satirical comedy, MASH. Then we'll air an interview we did with actress Sally Kellerman about the film. So
Hot lips.
stay tuned. All right, I guess we're back, right?
Yeah, we're back.
That's it. Welcome back to the Movies and Stuff Show, everybody. Talking about Robert Altman's MASH.
There you go.
All right, so, MASH is a tremendous, awesome satire. It's set in South Korea in 1951, centered on a mobile army surgical hospital, or a MASH unit. And in particular, two combat surgeons, Hawkeye Pierce and Duke Forrest, played by Donald Sutherland and Tom Skerritt, who are assigned to this MASH unit. The film is based on Richard Hooker's novel MASH, a novel about 3 army doctors, and was actually adapted to screen. I did not know this, by blacklisted screenwriter Ring Lardner Jr. I was not aware of that. And that name came up before, right? When we talked about Clue.
Oh, yeah. That's
talked
right.
about blacklisting and stuff like that.
Lynn was friends with some of those people, yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty fascinating. So MASH went on, received 5 Academy Award nominations and nominated for Best Picture. Was actually awarded the Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. So that's a little synopsis. That's a little quick history on MASH. Let's get into it. First time seeing it. I saw this film when I was 10, 11.
Really?
Yeah, it was way over my head. Way over my head. I didn't dislike it. I didn't, I was 10 at the time. Like, there's a lot of stuff I just didn't get. A lot of stuff that humor-wise was not my cup of tea. But when I revisited in college, I had just seen Gosford Park. Mm-hmm. And went on like a little minor Altman film kind of review, renting some Altman flicks, and I saw MASH, and I just absolutely loved it when I saw it in college. I thought it was just really great. I thought it was really funny. It was right up my alley. My favorite film of all time is Dr. Strangelove. Mm-hmm. And I felt a lot of this, similar kind of notes of humor in MASH, as in with Strangelove. I mean, when you're talking about war and you can make it funny,
You're right. That's a good comparison. I wouldn't have caught or thought of, I guess.
Yeah. How about you? When was the first time you saw it?
Man, high school probably. I was thinking like 16 or 17. Had to be right around there, yeah. I really liked it the first time I saw it.
Yeah?
I mean, it was a little... I don't know. It took me a minute to wrap my head around the style Altman was using. Because it's I think around 16.
I agree.
I think 16 or 17 especially, I was still trying to... I don't know, still learning, I guess, how to watch movies and stuff like that.
Right.
And the way Altman was just kind of like just cramming everybody in front of the camera and everybody talking at the same time, or he was, way the hell back with his camera and then maybe zooming in on people. It took me a little while to wrap my head around that.
I mean, it was one of his earliest films too, and a lot of people just did not like his style.
Yeah, I can see that.
I loved it. I loved what he did, and we'll talk about a little bit later more about the direction of the film.
Right.
But yeah, I could see that. I could see a lot of people being turned off by. It was so, in a way, unconventional.
In a way, I think every way it was probably.
Yeah, and it was right at the beginning of the 70s. It was 1970.
Right.
So it was before, it was before 70s filmmaking. You know?
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, it was really kicking off this new era of filmmaking that best decade ever, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Or at least the one where the filmmakers had the most control over their product.
Precisely. Yeah. They had the most control. They were able to be a lot more adventurous with their filmmaking styles.
Yeah.
And guys like Altman thrived off that. They made a career out of being able to do that from that point on, even
Absolutely.
Even as the money tightened up in the 90s and early thousands, he was still able to make, great movies. And again, we'll get into that a little bit later. So you enjoyed it first time you saw it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I have a weird history with MASH. Like, I saw the movie first, and I liked it. And then and I don't know how the hell this happened, but I ended up seeing the TV show finale after that, and I thought they dovetailed really well. I had no idea that the whole TV show was so sitcom-y. Yeah, but I was really happy to revisit this one now because it was not a movie I would have probably thought to rewatch, and if it wasn't for the show, I would have totally forgot about it because of all that. Because of all them, I kind of forgot about MASH because the show never struck me, which is what sticks in everybody's head is the show.
It was the show.
Yeah.
The show tends to have outlived the movie. Uh-huh. And I saw a great comment on Facebook. You were talking with Tim, who comments regularly on our Facebook page, and talking about one of the major issues with the show was that because it was syndicated, they couldn't really create cohesive themes or cohesive storylines that expanded so far. Mm-hmm. And ultimately it impacted that because you had, wrap this up in this episode and wrap this up in that episode. It couldn't really, expand a lot of the similar themes that the movie was capable of doing, I thought that was a good point. I thought that was a really good point.
It was. And Tim hit on the well, we can just talk about what Tim said for a minute.
Yeah, let's just talk about what Tim said. Tim had a lot of great points.
He really did.
It was really great, yeah.
That, movies like that use a really subversive and kind of dark sense of humor make a lot of people uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Because it's just definitely, it's that kind of humor that is actually quite dangerous, I think, for for like politicians, for the army, things like that. Because as you said, it was set in Korea, but it was Vietnam.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Yeah, I mean, they make one little reference, like in the beginning of the film, to Korea. I mean, there are some here and there, but for the most part, it's Vietnam.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just
That's It is like, hey, this is for you,
Right.
Yeah. Hey, but so we did rewatch it. We rewatched it for the show,
right?
Because I had this crazy idea. I was like, hey, let's talk about MASH. Let's get Sally Kellerman on and talk about MASH. That was my crazy idea. So I'm happy to say that I think this film holds up on the rewatch scale. I found it very funny. The football game at the end is a masterpiece of comedy filmmaking. I shit you not. It is a masterpiece of comedy filmmaking right there. It's so fucking funny. Did you enjoy the rewatch?
Absolutely, I did. I love the football game too, but it's really the interaction with the characters. I mean, just the relentless torture of like Frank and Hot Lips.
Yeah,
because it's like, well, you're against us, so we're gonna make you pay for it.
Though I love the evolution of Hot Lips as a character.
I do too.
I love that like aha moment where at the football game where she's like cheering and they're still making fun of her. Mm-hmm. But she's going with it. She's part of the crew now.
Absolutely.
And then, Frank kind of gets the boot. Deservedly. He was a shitty fucking surgeon.
He was. He was.
It was pretty fucking bad.
He was. He was a bad conciliary too,
So it was good that he got the boot. Acting wise, excellent performances. Donald Sutherland not very happy with Altman's directing style, complained.
Oh, that's right.
To the studios about how he hated working with Altman. Still did a terrific job. Tom Skerritt, great performance. Elliot Gould, him and Sutherland, together. Perfect. It's just magic. Yeah. It's magic. And Gould actually was along with complaining about Altman at first. And then they went on to have a very fine career together.
Long Goodbye. Yeah.
Great movie. Great movie. And of course we had Sally Kellerman in this film. Great. Oh my God. And we'll get into it when we play the interview. We talked to her about the performance and just what went into it. But just pure utter breakdown. And I felt bad for her. Like I didn't like the character because the character is a douche. But when she has that breakdown, it's sad. And she does such a good job with that breakdown. And then you got Robert Duvall. Robert Duvall was fucking awesome in it. Yeah, it's not one of those roles that you remember Robert Duvall 4 either.
No, you don't.
You know, it's not. I mean, he kind of went in the 70s, did a couple other films that you kind of remember him for, and
yeah, one or two
at least. You know, and then you know, another one that I really liked was Roger Bowen. He was the commanding officer there. He was the one with the glasses, kind of. Yeah, I liked him a lot. He was really funny.
Oh my God,
kind of underrated. Did you have a favorite performance? Anyone that you said was your favorite in the film?
Oh, it's Elliot Gould, man. I mean, complaining aside, he ruled this movie. He owned that role. It was so great, so great.
And had fantastic facial hair.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, it's facial hair to dream of. Not like this 2-day scruff that's going on right here.
There you go. There you go. No, but yeah, I think Elliot. He kicked ass. Him and Elliot Gould together.
So Sutherland and Gould.
Yeah, they just gelled so well together. I loved it. It was just I have a hard time believing they even complained on the film because.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it seemed like Altman put the goddamn camera in the corner and just said, go nuts, just have fun. But it was the people talking over his lines, wasn't it? That's what every actor. Yeah.
That was it. He was just
fucking actors.
And Sutherland he's in the Hunger Games now, so he's got a hell of a career.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's gone on to do a lot, Donald Sutherland, and he even has a son, I believe.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Although he's more famous than his son still.
Yeah, he is. Well, movie-wise, he's more famous than his son. TV-wise, 24. I think Kiefer gets the nod for TV stuff. But
there we go.
Movie-wise, Donald Sutherland's had a better career than Kiefer. Sorry to say.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So the question is this a funny movie? And I mentioned earlier, I really like comedies like this, but I admit, I could see it being an acquired taste. Do you think that this is a funny movie?
Yes, I do think this is a funny movie. I think it's even more funny now because it's shocking to our 21st century sensibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is absolutely the kind of screenplay that could not be made now. No way, no how.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's a single filmmaker out there that would even dare to have a character named Spear Chucker Jones.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, no, they wouldn't. They would not.
Which so how'd you get that nickname? After javelin.
God, no, nobody would do that.
No.
Nobody would do that. And just the two protagonists are bullies. There's just no getting around it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they are. They're cruel.
Yeah,
they're cruel.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
By the 21st century standards, they sexually assaulted Hot Lips.
Oh yeah. That would be all buzz on Twitter if that happened.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently in the 70s this is just Tuesday, but nowadays it would have been horrific.
Stuff they pulled in the Japanese hospital.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot. I spaced on that. Jesus. Yeah.
With the pretty much terrorizing the nurses in that hospital.
It's just acceptable. It's just the 70s, man. It was a wonderful time, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Thinking of like the baseball movie, Bad News Bears.
Oh yeah, you don't see little kids smoking and cursing and drinking, looking at pornography, and hey, Yankees, take that trophy and shove it up your ass.
I mean, I was thinking too, like even with the '80s.
Oh, absolutely.
We grew up in a different time.
And you know what happened? We stopped smoking inside. That's the key to it all, right there. We decided we're all gonna be safe and we're all gonna be happy.
Well, maybe vaping will change all of that.
Vaping's gonna save the
world.
Leo and I are saving the fucking world, people.
That's right. I cannot wait for you to be on the Growing Pains reunion show, reprising Leonardo DiCaprio's role. It's just you vaping.
That's just it. I'll just sit in the corner and vape.
Yeah. Last topic here. Let's just talk about Altman, and shamefully, I'm not that well versed on Robert Altman films. As mentioned earlier, I did go on like a little kick of watching some of them back in college, but I still haven't seen a ton of them. And the ones I have, it's been a while. But I mean, that's the beauty of this show. Eventually, we're going to, we'll watch we watch whatever we want. We can revisit as many movies as we want. So that's the beauty of this show. I'd say The Player, probably my favorite. And I mean, I loved Popeye when I was younger. Shortcuts had some memorable parts to it.
Oh.
Do you recall Shortcuts?
Not really, no. I don't really recall.
Lots of nudity. Julianne Moore essentially bottomless for a good portion of it.
I have so desensitized to nudity now. I can't even recall that.
I
hate what I've become.
Mr. Skin would be very disappointed in you and what you've become now, Abe. I mean, but by default, MASH is on my top of my favorite Altman films. What about you? On Altman in particular, his style, his movies, anything that you can muster about this filmmaking legend?
I think MASH is his best that I've seen. I have not seen them all, I have to admit. I want to rewatch Long Goodbye, and I'd love to hear from anybody who's actually seen that, because I remember it being really good, but I need to rewatch it before I can actually declare that. We're getting yelled at in the chat from Tom Knobloch. Shortcuts is good! ! So he's mad about you.
Why is he mad about me? I said it was good.
You said it was good in parts, right?
I said it had memorable parts. I was making a sexual innuendo. It was a sexual innuendo. I can't remember Nashville, Tom, but Nashville works. No, Nashville was great from what I recall, but I can't really remember it. Shortcuts is good.
Well, when you say it has memorable parts, I didn't catch the innuendo. I caught that it
has I went right from that into talking about Julianne Moore bottomless.
Okay, fair enough.
Tom also likes Long Goodbye.
Yeah, Popeye's still the best, though.
Well, now this ties into the master, P.T. Anderson.
Oh, Jesus. With
all the homages to Altman's Popeye. You secretly just admitted that you love P.T. Anderson's The Master. I win. I've won the evening.
There you go.
Mic drop. I should pick up this microphone right here and just drop it on the ground.
If you're going to keep talking like that, you should drop it on the ground. You should walk out of the booth.
And then you can just finish the show on your own.
Yep, I can finish it. Yes.
Oh, all right. Anything else about MASH?
It's a great flick. Watch it. I think it gets... it's not cited enough as being a comedy that's unfilmable in the 21st century. Everybody always says Blazing Saddles, Blazing Saddles. MASH is a little more serious of a comedy that could not be made today.
I totally agree. So without further ado, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. When the show returns, it's going to be airing the interview we did with Sally Kellerman. Me and Abe are just going to hang out in the chat on YouTube. So we'll just BS with everyone while the interview's playing. And then we'll come back after that and we'll do a wrap up and stuff like that. So stay tuned.
Joining us on the Movies and Stuff show, actress Sally Kellerman. Sally, thanks for taking some time to chat with us today.
Well, I'm delighted to be here, or be with you, wherever you are.
We are everywhere. And
that's good.
We are talking about MASH today, and it's truly a wonderful, wonderful film. It was so ahead of its time. It was loved by critics. It did well with audiences. When you first saw the final version of the film, what were your impressions of it?
Oh, it was one of the great experiences in my life working with Bob and his wild mind, I don't know, he had us sing dailies every every day, something I was never going to do for my first Outer Limits when Joe Stefano invited me to see a rough cut. I got in the car, drove to see Vic Morrow shooting, whatever the name of that series was, and sobbed. I'm not only ugly, I'm untalented, so I was never going to see a rough cut again or anything like that. But Bob made us go every day to dailies, and at light, we'd be sitting in the dark, and he'd say, "Boy, I bet you hate yourself there, Sally. I bet you think you look ugly," and it would be exactly what I was thinking, And anyway, so what did I think of the film, you say? It was just one of the great, all of us, they had, Tom Skerritt, all of us always talk about one of the great times. We've all made a lot of movies and a lot of television, a lot of stuff, but that was really special.
Oh, yeah. You say it was like you're screening dailies every day. It sounds like it was almost a party atmosphere on the set of MASH.
Oh, no. Yeah? Oh, no. He'd say cut, he'd light up a joint and get a drink, and then off to go. We'd go to dailies. That's what he had on the way to the screening of the movie.
And your performance in this film is just so awesome, and that near breakdown that you have in Colonel Blake's room is just so fantastic. No, when you heard that you got nominated for an Oscar for the film, what's going through your head?
Well, during these dailies, he said, he was seeing that when I went to had the breakdown, and then he didn't say cut. I was so worked up that I just suddenly went, my commission, and backed out of the tent, and just that's what came out of my mouth. And he ran around the tent and said, "Now you can stay in the film. You've changed. You're vulnerable." And on my first meetings with him, I'd said, "Why can't she stay in the film? Why does she have to leave the film? Why couldn't she do this?" And he said, "Well, I thought he didn't know me. I didn't know him." He said, "Well, why couldn't you? Maybe you'll end up with something or nothing." And so when that scene happened, he just ran, "Oh, now you can stay in the film." So everything I did from then on, he just made up. And, Sally, say, "My God, they shot him." He'd be high up in the crane somewhere over the football field. Say, when the gun goes off at the half, say, "My God, they shot him." So he just tossed things to me, I don't know if I'm answering your questions, but try to bring it back.
Yeah. So
what were you asking? So what was my impression of the movie?
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going through your head when you got nominated for the Oscar for the movie.
Oh, I was thrilled because he said in the dailies one day, he said, "You're going to get nominated for an Oscar." I went, "Oh yeah, sure. I hope, but pretending that." I loved it. I love being nominated for an Oscar, and it's way overdue. So I have to find another really great part with a great director and win this time.
That's right.
Before I go to the great beyond, Anyway, yeah, it was really exciting. It was exciting. Nothing like being appreciated by your peers.
Absolutely. So originally, Hot Lips was going to leave the camp just as it was in the script.
Yeah.
But you hit it off with Bob so much that he kept you around.
Well, I put that bug in his ear, and then when he saw, the breakdown scene, that's what I said. He ran around. "Now you can stay in the film. You're vulnerable," and so that gave him all kinds of ideas of what to do with me and my character. So it was just. It was Bob Altman. What can we say? It was just like going to a picnic with a really brilliant guy sitting in the wings, just to toss out an idea or something, just with no pressure. There was no worries of, is this going to be good or bad or anything. It was just fun.
Yeah, nice.
And your character does have that great change after that breakdown, as you mentioned, where, she essentially starts to become part of the gang, and
get laid every 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I just think about the football game where she's cheering on the team. She doesn't really know what she's cheering. It's just like it's just yelling out
He's
things
hearing
like,
it
"Yeah,
all.
he's injured, he's injured, he's hurt, he's hurt." And they're kind of making fun of her for not knowing it, but in the same sense, it's so endearing, and she really is part of the gang. That was one of my favorite scenes that you were in. How about you? What was one of your favorite scenes that you were in?
Well, I just loved, by now I don't look at it like that, it was just so much fun. I mean, I was 5'10", weighing 175 in high school. If you ever thought that I'd be chosen to be a cheerleader, I wouldn't have been. So this is my big opportunity. It was so much fun. I mean, he just let me, he'd say, Sally, he's carrying the ball. I don't remember what it was, but just silliest things I got to say and do and leap about. And what did the guy say to me? He said, "Well, hot lips, you're a blithering idiot." That's what he called me. So I thought, it's funny that you all would want to talk about MASH because it's been a long time and there's been a series and all the rest of it, but it was really a great experience. And so many people don't even know there was a film, it was the first blockbuster.
Yeah.
And it was just a memorable, wonderful experience.
I wanted to ask you about the shower scene because it's been said that Altman flashed you to catch you off guard.
No. God,
no. Okay.
No, but he did have everybody else naked when the first time I hit the deck, I looked up and there was Gary Berghoff stark naked, and then the next time there was Horowitz. I can think of her name, Pamela Horowitz. No, something. Oh, I always liked her. I wish I could remember her name because she died. But anyway, she was very amply endowed breasts, and so the first time Bob knew how scared I was. The last thing I wanted on earth was to be naked, and I backed out of rooms all my life. I was just never wanting anybody to ever see me. And but actors, we can't turn down a good role. And so anyway, I was scared to death, and Bob knew it. And I was always saying to him all during the shooting, because I'm a singer, and I say, Bob, could I sing in this? How about if I sing in this set? He said, how about I sing over here? Could I sing there? But he says, you can sing in the shower. And you hear the dailies, when you're looking at the dailies, you're, so scared I couldn't sing. And now, and and I asked him if I could just put soap in my hair so I wouldn't just be staring at the tent as it opened, so. But anyway, the first time the tent went up and I hit the deck, I looked up and there was Gary Berghoff, stark naked, on the other side of the camera. And then the second one was Tamara Horrocks, and then the third one was the black actor Kenny. I can't think of his last name. He was so adorable. He and Tamara Horrocks dry humping, fully clothed. But, so these are all Bob's ideas. So I attribute my Academy Award nomination to the people on the other side of the camera. With my mouth open, it's like, why? What am I looking at? So.
Well, it sounds like you had a lot of fun, but supposedly Sutherland and Gould did not have a lot of fun, and they kind of went to the studio behind Bob's back. Did they talk? Did they talk to you about that?
All those things are true, but it was just. But Elliot worships Bob, I can't speak for Donald Sutherland, and they did that long goodbye together. He and Elliot, Bob and Elliot. Oh my God, it's so great. The long goodbye. If you haven't seen it, Sterling Hayden. It was so fun. Did you ever see it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
The long goodbye. Yeah, so great. So, yeah, I mean, my only disappointment. when Bob died, it was just no. I don't want to stop having fun. Because everything was so much fun with Bob. And, he could be an asshole. And I don't know. He could be many things, but he was just so great. So great. And such a unique and he just made, it wasn't like acting. It was just like being, because he just made things so easy and spontaneous and wonderful.
So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit. We're talking about MASH, but I mean, you've had such an awesome career, and another movie of yours that I just absolutely love you in is Back to School. And
I was going to say, let me guess.
what was that experience?
Was
what was that experience like? Did you have a lot of fun? And I have to know, did you meet Kurt Vonnegut?
No, I never did. No, that's a good question. Yeah. Oh, you never. Well, what did my character say? Something you'd never. Something.
It's obvious that the person that wrote this paper does not know Vonnegut.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, he was so wonderful, wasn't he? I mean, it was just amazing, And I like to brag. The doctor, the director, said that I made Rodney human, so they could have a love interest and everything like that, because he, was such a clown and such a wonderful, amazing comedian, So it was believable that he and I could actually be together,
Yeah, such a fun movie. You guys were so great together. You and Rodney just played off of each other so well.
Oh my God! And how about? But then what a looker and what a my boyfriends. How about the guy that I left, Rodney? Oh my God! What is the actor's name? I can't remember, but he's so wonderful. He was so uptight. Well, I think we could have a marvelous association. I go, well, I don't want an association. I want Oh, what was his name? Oh, Charles or whatever his name was. That was funny. People still come up to me and say, "Call me when you got no class," Yeah.
One other thing that you were in that makes you, another icon is you were in that second pilot of Star Trek.
Ah, yes. I always think it's so funny they call it the second pilot. The first one was two other people completely, but it was the second pilot.
It was the second pilot.
That was nice. Yeah, that was a nice accidental. The gift that keeps on giving. I go to all these conventions and sign autographs and things like that. And how many years ago? 40 years ago or something? Is it longer than that? Is it 50 years? Is it 40 years? A pilot of Star Trek? I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting close to 50.
I'm still signing autographs and pictures. And, I mean, it's amazing. Amazing. Star Trek is amazing. That it just goes on and on and on and on. And,
yeah.
So that was an accidental. I'd been doing all this craft theater with Rod Steiger and, Hard Bitten Drunk in a Chanel suit and craft theater in the Chanel suit and, everything that was always dolled up and being beaten by my husband or something. And then I get Star Trek, and I have no idea what it is, and I arrive on the set, and this awful, the costumes at that point were, I think, sewn loving hands at home, probably the director's mother or somebody. Except, I put on this outfit, I'm thinking, what am I doing in these tight stretch pants that I would never wear in real life? And going from the Chanel suits, I'm now standing in a homemade outer space costume. It really did look like it was homemade. And not having any idea what it was about, And I saw a clip of it recently, and where just my hands, I go, and that's how I kill people, just boom with my hands. They certainly, they certainly evolved from that technologically speaking, they really, it really took off from there, and it's so much fun to see how, I could say Mickey Mouse, so different, kind of Mickey Mouse it was, all kind of made up, and then they just evolved into this huge, real.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I mean, because I remember standing there waiting for the lights to flash on this machine, and, who knew what that was or anything. So.
Yeah.
Roddenberry certainly had vision, didn't he? Whoa.
He did.
He was a producer. He was the.
So I've got one last question.
Yeah.
I've heard a rumor that Harrison Ford built a deck at your house. Is that true?
He was my carpenter, and he added a door and one big window, I think a door and 2 windows.
How was the quality of his work? Was it good?
Well, I'd say, Harrison, why does a bookcase have to start in from the doorway like 2 inches and then stick out so far? Why does that have to be like that? And he said, that's the way it has to be. Okay. He was so handsome. The rumor is he was reading from a book. When I'd be in the other room, he'd be like quickly looking up how to carpet. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, what I said was true. And then when Frank Gehry, who redid our house and added a whole wings and everything, the architects from the Guggenheim and Disney Hall and everything like that, was a friend and worked on our house. But when he came along, after Harrison had been my carpenter and built those bookshelves and everything, he then made them like bookshelves attached to the wall. I mean, they were all attached to the wall, but I mean, made them narrower and smoother and fitted right in, But, anyway, Harrison was so handsome and had that, not overwhelmingly warm, at least to me, personality, but he was so handsome, and I'd say, Harrison, why does it have to be like that? That's the way it has to be. Okay. Okay, Harrison. Anything you say, Harrison. And he got Star Wars while he was working for me, and he'd done 2 pilots that didn't sell during the time he was working on the house. And I came in one day and he said, I know I was probably there. That's exactly what he said. I was probably their last choice, but I got this thing, with Alec Guinness, some space movie, and I went, oh, that's nice. I was already starring in movies, and I was like, oh, bless your heart, But anyway, so, the rest is history, but... but he never did get me a job, though. So I got him a job. My next door neighbor was a producer. I say, Phil, look at Harrison. You got to hire Harrison for something, and he did. But I don't remember. Do you recall Harrison ever? Do you think he ever called me and said, "Yeah, but you come and do this role"? No. That's right. I'm not talking about him anymore.
We're so very happy that you took some time to speak with us today about it. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot, Sally. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
And we are back.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are. Fun interview. She was really, really fun.
She was.
It took a little while for her to wake up, warm up.
It takes women a little while to warm up to me. I know that.
But when she got into it, she really had it. I always find it funny when it happens, when we have a topic for a guest, and not that they're not into it or lukewarm to it, but then we pose other questions outside of the main topic, and then it's like her talking about Harrison Ford. She just like lighted up, like, oh, Harrison, it was a great anecdote.
Yeah, I love it. I love it too. You're a shitty carpenter, Harrison.
It's like, builds the bookcases that are hanging out into the doorways. It's so fucking funny.
It is. It is. And I don't know anybody else that's ever claimed to have Harrison Ford do any work for him. So this is it. I'm glad we got it. Yeah.
That's some good investigative journalism on your part, Abe.
There we go. There we go.
We're figuring things out. We're solving this. We're the real X-Files. We are.
I don't want to go there, man. I don't want to go there.
Because you don't want to show your transphobic nature.
Oh, fuck. That's a different show altogether. That's a different show.
I guess that'll wrap up another episode of the Movies and Stuff show. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to us on YouTube, also like us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. Tune in next week. What are we going to do next week? We're going to do a top 5 list next week?
Are we doing a top 5 next?
Next week's going to be a top 5 list. We are going to do Let's pick this out of the bag. How about the top 5 best movies of the early 70s?
Oh yeah, you can't do the whole decade at once.
No,
It's
we're gonna split it up. So
yeah.
we'll do 1970 to 1974, and then at a later date we'll do 75 to 79. So next week we're gonna do top 5 early 70s best movies. Tune in Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live. We're gonna be doing the same thing we're doing. Some topics. Do a top 5 countdown.
Nice.
Bullshit with all you people.
Oh, it'll be fun. It'll be
2 weeks.
It'll be a carnival. Yeah.
Then in 2 weeks, we're going to talk Carnival
I can't
with
wait.
creator of that show, Daniel Knopf.
That's going to be badass.
Well, that's going to be really awesome.
And let's
I
just tie it in that Ronald D. Moore has already talked about it on the show.
already talked to Ronald D. Moore about it.
And he's made some interesting statements that I wonder if Knopf is going to back up.
So we'll kind of like do point counterpoint to see if there's a continuity there, if there's consistency, or if there's differences of opinion there. That'd be really cool. We also talked to Mark Boone Jr. about some Carnival a while back. So really, really cool stuff. With that, Abe, final vapes or final words?
This isn't a podcast, and just in an insane asylum, and it's your fault.
It's mine. I take the blame.
All right,
Later.
boys and girls.
Bye.